Hey, this is Tay Musselwhite with the BizToolStore podcast. And what I'm reaching out to about today is phishing and scams. Now, this is a huge, unfortunately, business here in the United States. I'll show you some figures in a little bit, but the latest estimates are that it's costing approximately $1,000 for the average American household. Just an astounding number when you think about it, $1,000 for every household that you see that exists in America today. And so what I want to go through is a few things. I'm going to provide some resources, also some examples. I started looking into this a few years back when someone close to me got scammed for over $3,000. What I found out is it's incredibly pervasive. There are people mostly in foreign countries who are using the best technology out there to convince you that, first off, to call, some of them tens of thousands of calls per day. But there's a variety of scams. Some come in the form of phone calls, some in the form of text messages, some come in the form of emails, and then some can even be originated where they're able to put things onto your computer. There are some very kind of concrete rules to know. Is if someone is telling you that, hey, you cannot hang up or something will happen bad to you, that is probably a scam. Any legitimate business or bank or financial institution or utility company, government, anything like that, they will, of course, have a place where you can call them back. And they will certainly not say that you cannot hang up. And if one of the hallmarks of these scams is that they put you in a very interesting situation, meaning there's something that just happened and oh my gosh, what a surprise. Or you have to do this and it's a convoluted situation where something happened and it could even be on your screen, like literally on your computer screen. And they're showing you your bank account and they're showing that an amount went out and it went to them and now you have to do this or you have to do that. Just understand that anything can happen now on your computers these days, but especially when these are sophisticated scammers and this is their job. But understand that there will never be like a time-sensitive thing where you can't hang up and you have to go get gift cards from Home Depot and then redeem them online because of this crazy thing that got paid out of their bank account and this and that. And that'll never happen. It won't happen in that way. They won't ask you to be sending them cash in a book or going and putting things into a Bitcoin vending machine, things like that. Just understand. So let's jump into it. I've got some quick examples, some quick math, and then some resources for some YouTubers who you can take a look at their channels and see the basics of scams, but then also there's a whole industry has now evolved in the United States to fight these scammers in foreign countries because of it is so pervasive. So the first thing is this was a recent stat. It's estimated that Americans lose between 119 and $137.4 billion to scammers every year. That's $1,000 per household, which is just a stunning number to me. It's a huge industry. So there's all sorts of scams, but one of the things that really happens on the corporate and business side is that your employees or you yourself are going to get an email from a company that you do business with, quote unquote, it's going to look very sophisticated. And they're using AI to create these emails and design them properly and everything. This is a great example when we look down here. So you can see the domains that look like theirs, or there's misspellings. And so you can see right here, Activer Campaign, and it's spelled wrong, or that one's pretty close. Or then emails asking you to log in via a link you didn't request. Just be super careful and make your default be, I don't think so. If you get an email saying you have to reset your password, or, oh gosh, something happened, there was maintenance, so we're resetting this for you, anything like that, just make your default, no, I don't think so, and look closely. These are some recommendations. So you want to go in on almost any app that you use, your banking, anything like that, go in and enable multi-factor authentication. That is where you get a text message when you're logging into something. So at least it's not just as easy as guessing or stealing your password and having someone be able to log into your things. You can go into settings on most anything, any piece of software that you use. You can go into settings and integrations or connections, whatever it's called, go in and make sure that it's something that you want connected. And then in this case, you always log in. You go and log in yourself. Don't log in from a link that's sent to you. Just go in where you normally log in and log in there. And if there is something where things need to be reset, it'll be in there. So one of the things that can really happen is when you get an email, they'll come through and they'll look real. You just want to make sure that you're going to the one that is real. So look very closely, add them to your safe senders and safe receivers list, and then don't deviate from that. So just make your default that always you want to take a look and hold on, this isn't right. They'll never, like this is from Active Campaign, they'll never send you an unsolicited link and ask you to log in. And if you didn't request a login link, don't click it. Go to your actual login with the app that you use. And then if something does look suspicious, immediately take a look at it and contact support for whatever app or institution or anything that you're trying to access. Here are some articles. I'll provide them in the links to this and also a document at the end. But this is where they have a couple things from Active Campaign. There's also some things from the Federal Trade Commission, which I will show you in a moment. Here are some YouTubers who fight scammers. I'll show you examples of them in a moment, and some of them are actually pretty funny. The imagination that these guys are going into to actively fight scammers is amazing. This one actually prompted me to take a look. So here I live. This is pretty recent, as we can see, in March. This came through, very official looking document, and it's from the Cook County Court. It's saying I had to appear or something would happen. And it was basically saying it was required action by tomorrow or within a few days. That is a hallmark of scamming, is you have to act quickly. It wants you to panic so that your normal caution, you throw caution to the wind. So instead of panicking, adopt skepticism. And interestingly enough, Cook County from Chicago, that should be a 312 phone number, and this came from a 726. But what you see here is we can, in your phone, when you get these, go ahead and report scams and click on it. And there's also another thing that we can do is you can text this, you copy it, and you text it to 7726, which is SPAM. And that enables the global ecosystem to fight these scams. That's the number one thing that I think that we can all do collectively is you have to be personally careful, but then do the things that you can do that mark them within the ecosystem as spam or scam. So interestingly, this is a known thing and they're sending it to people in Cook County, and I went and Googled it and checked it out. So right here, if you do get some sort of phishing example, email or text, report it. It enables the ecosystem to know what is a scam or spam or phishing. And so here's the anti-phishing working group, and then the spam, you forward your text messages to 7726. You copy them and then forward it to 7726, and then they're going to ask you for the number that it was sent from. And then go to FTC, the report fraud, ftc.gov. Fight scams and fraud collectively. Think about your fellow neighbor. Oftentimes it's someone older, or it could be someone at work. It could be someone's company that you know that they're having to fight this. So just take one for the team, so to speak. With that, I'm going to dig into some links to show you some great examples. I'm going to get out of this slideshow and take a look. So here's actually ActiveCampaign. And a lot of the software that you use, it should have something like this. And the address doesn't match. Look at the full email address. So they can make it say, the display name say ActiveCampaign, but using a different domain. Now this doesn't just apply to ActiveCampaign. This applies to any email that you can get. It's very easy to make it look like that just in the first subject line. But when you open it up and you take a look up in your email addresses of where it comes from, you can see the whole address, and often you can see that it doesn't make sense. Extra words, letters, country codes. This, again, I cannot emphasize enough. If there's urgency and a threat, and so that panic, it makes you skip through your natural defense or natural skepticism immediately, things like that. I think this is kind of on its way out because of AI. But if it's just hi or dear user, definitely make sure. If it's someone that does business with you, they of course do know your name, and that should be pretty easy to discern. Suspicious links, just don't click over it, but you can hover over, confirm, be wary. If it looks off, just don't click. And in fact, make your default do not click. They're never going to ask you for your password. They're never going to ask you to verify your account, replying with sensitive information. Here's an example that they have gotten. So ActiveCampaign was hyphenated, but the thing is, this looks really legit. And so you got to be really careful and be skeptical. So in this case, if you get that, just go to where you normally log in to whatever software you use and then renew it there. They're not going to ask you verify it, report it, follow up. They say multi-factor authentication. Use real strong, unique passwords. Update things. Train your team. Like review this with your employees. Talk through something like this. Use a password manager. I highly recommend that. This is just lots of things from ActiveCampaign. Now here is phishing scams. So I have these links in the document that I'll show you in a moment. But let's move on to the FTC. So how to recognize and avoid phishing scams. There's going to be Similar things as what we've been talking about from ActiveCampaign. But here are some examples. They've noticed some suspicious activity, claim there's a problem with your account. You need to confirm personal or financial information. In fact, to that point, I know someone whose husband had just died. Scammers know that this is a stressful time and you may not be fully thinking and your world's kind of falling apart. So now they had the full name from the death notice in the paper, and then they called and asked they pretended to be the funeral home, saying that for the death certificate, they needed the Social Security number. And someone that I know gave that Social Security number over the phone. So just understand, default is no, I'm not giving you my Social Security number. No, I'm not going to click on this. Invoices, refund, coupon. This is one thing that's really interesting that a lot of these scammers that I'll show you in a minute is there's all these huge companies out there like Netflix, like it'll be Amazon, it'll be something like that where they're saying, update your payment details or there was a problem but this is a fake one. I would urge you to go to just Google how to recognize avoiding scams FTC. This has a great resource and some steps that you can take. Another interesting thing is, especially on the corporate side, is make sure that you're backing up your machines so that if someone did take over your machine and was holding it ransom, that you have a way out of that or that you can rebuild your system. It's becoming more and more rampant. We saw this happen with some healthcare ransomware last year. It's happening more and more. And then do the collective thing where help everyone else by reporting spam when you get it. Let's take a look at some of these YouTubers. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, this guy's name is Pierogi.
I'm Pierogi, and I expose scammers for a living.
Now, this is on Proton. You can look this up. Exposes how scams work. This is one of the guys who fights scammers for a living. He's one that I recommend if you want to go down a rabbit hole. Jim Browning is someone who also
Fox scrolling down saying Windows malware detected and a critical virus alert.
So I brought this one up because the scammers are sophisticated enough now that they can make something pop up on your machine. And this is a great example of that.
I gotta do it. The only thing I could do is call up somebody smart.
They make you think that something is wrong with your machine, and then it'll say tech support, and they'll try and get you to call their number. And then they're going to patch into your computer and do a bunch of things, but it's all with urgency and panic that your computer's going to die or it is compromised, anything like that. This guy is hilarious. His name is Kitboga.
They think solving the CAPTCHA is going to unlock thousands of dollars, but these aren't your average CAPTCHAs. We've designed them specifically to make their lives as miserable as possible.
This guy is hilarious. He is fighting back in a very sophisticated way, and one of his goals is to make scammers spend a lot of time on his tasks so they're not able to spend time on their phone trying to scam other people. I encourage you to take a look at him if you want to go down one of those rabbit holes. He's hilarious. This is actually Jim Browning. He's one of the guys who does this too. These types of pop-ups truly are things that they can put onto your computer. And you think, if I saw this, truly, I would probably call the number, not knowing that it's a scam. And you call that number and then you're in. Here's more of that documentation. This is the hearing notice that I got via text message. and it's happening a lot. This is Cook County Court, Illinois fraud alert, talking about, hey, there's something like this going around. Do not do it. It threatens court action. And that makes you panic and go, oh my gosh, something's going to happen to me if I don't pay this by tomorrow. And that's exactly what the scammers are looking for you to do. So I just Googled this, but Americans lose. So how much money do Americans lose to scams every year? So an estimated $119 to $137.4 billion annually. Now, for that math of $1,000 per household that I was doing earlier, I used the high range of this, obviously, but fraud losses rising 430% since 2020. Now, that's COVID. A lot of people were home. That was great for scammers. I believe it also has to do with using AI to scam people. Email is still the most common contact method for scams, followed by phone calls and text messages. Here we go. The surge is attributed to the rise of AI tools used by scammers and bank transfers and cryptocurrency. If someone's telling you have to transfer money to them immediately or something crazy is going to happen, just don't do it. Now, more to I Googled how many households are there in the U.S. There's 134 million households in the U.S. I actually underestimated this a touch because I divided 137 billion, which is the losses, divided by 137 million instead of the 134, but it's $1,000 per household, which is crazy. Not only to help yourself and collective Americans save money from scammers, and also the fact that there's a business like making $137 billion stealing from Americans. Everyone just take a look. Inform your friends, relatives, parents, anything like that about this. Direct them to these resources, have the talk, let them know what's going on. And here are links. If anyone just reaches out to me, I can send this to you or I can save it and make it publicly available. But with that, it's Tay Musselwhite, BizToolStore podcast and the BizToolStore, reaching out about scams and fraud and how to protect yourself.